Welcome back to Harare Sports Club for the first of 4 ODIs of the Surya Pump Cup 2019. It's live from Harare Sports Club, and it's the interval where we've seen that the UAE have really struggled with the bat. The crowd have looked good. They've come in as the day progressed. It is a working day here in Zimbabwe, in Harare. So the post-lunch session is about to take its first ball as both teams are making their way out into the middle. The two batters. Zimbabwe will need Nelson to win this first ODI. 1-1-1 at a run rate of just over 2. Solomon Mire and Regis Chakaba will get things underway for Zimbabwe with bat in hand. Alongside me is Tino Mawoyo, who has enjoyed his lunch and has taken a seat alongside me. Tino, we just look at how the UAE went about with the bat. We've got to tip our hats to the Zimbabwean bowlers, but it'll be emphatic if Zimbabwe could get these runs with as little damage as possible. But there'll be some solace there for the UAE to try and pick up some wickets.
They will indeed. Solomon Mire, 41 matches, 40 innings, an average of 21. We want that to improve. He's got a best of 112. That was in 2017 against Sri Lanka, in Sri Lanka. And Regis Chakaba. This is his ODI career, just 35 matches, 31 innings. On average, there's plenty of places it can go. First one-day international since 2015. And the captain, Mohammad Naveed, will take the new ball. 50 wickets at an economy of 5.5.
2 slips will await the first delivery for the UAE. Sean George from South Africa. Port Elizabeth, 42nd ODI for him. He is gaining enormous amount of experience. As Langton Rusera from Zimbabwe is his partner out in the middle.
Mohammad Naveed generates some good pace. Takes the ball away from the right-hander. And that game in the qualifier last year got a couple of really important wickets early on for the UAE. He'll be looking to do the same today.
Zimbabwe underway. Good running.
Very good running. Regis Chakaba. Bundle of energy. These people have turned out today to witness this first Surya Pump one-day international at Harare Sports Club. You expect that the surface would have settled down a little bit this morning. Lots of pace and bounce and carry in the first session. But I think this afternoon you can expect the ball to just come onto the bat a little bit better. Especially with Naveed, who's a short bowler, skiddy.
First 4 deliveries, just looking for a little bit of swing. Is there anything on offer? I think that's where his strength would be. Naveed, if there's going to be some lateral movement, nice and full, try and find the inside edge or try and hit the batsman in line, stump to stump. But we haven't seen any of that in the first couple of deliveries. It's nearly the holiday season here in Zimbabwe, so it's the last day of school, so you'd expect that there'll be a much better turnout.
Nice bowling, nice bowling.
The holidays come about. Going on holiday, Tino, at all? Easter time?
No, Ed. Yes, Easter time indeed. We'll take a short 3-hour drive to the Eastern Highlands and visit parents.
Oh, so you are going on holiday then?
Yeah, well, I wouldn't call home a holiday. But, yeah, looking for a little trip out to the mountains.
Nice bowling. Nice bowling.
First over gone. 3 for no loss.
Good over. Sabar, boys. Let's get off middle.
Khadi Ahmed. Age 33. It all looks really military medium, doesn't it? There's not a lot there you can be worried about. Just looking at the actions, more about the economics. Whereas the UAE had a little bit of pace to contend with Jarvis and Chatara. But I do know that Mohamed Naveed did say in his press conference that the group of players possess a lot of skill.
Just unsure. But now he went about that leave. Solomon Mira. Talking about skillful. It's really important, especially if you have that little bit of extra pace to rush the batsman. Nicely timed.
Good running and pick up 3.
Shaba boy. Ready? जितना चाह रहे हैं ना बॉल उधर नहीं जाना मैं इधर भी रखता ठीक है ना ठीक है
Some are still enjoying a little bit of lunch at the ground. If you're in the area, come in. As I said, it's a wonderful venue. It's a good sighting venue. There's a lot of areas to sit and sight the cricket. Is that bounce is still available?
Oh, it definitely is. It's at a nice area. Concentrating on 4th or 5th stump line. Look at that. Keeper taking that well above shoulder height. Register cover making a delayed decision to let that go. Nice technique from the keeper. He's definitely getting a bit of extra bounce, Ed. I saw that this morning.
Come on, boy. Good bowling, boy.
I was talking about maybe the surface after lunch would have settled down. Definitely still something in there for the bowlers. It's a Liverpool shirt, Ed.
It's the best shirt I've seen in the ground.
No.
Back to the cricket, 7th top class.
After 2 overs, Zimbabwe had lost.
Yeah, just to remind you of what's happened with the UAE with the bat in hand. 110 is all they could muster, and just under 45 overs. 36 from Buta was the best of what looked a sorry batting card. Should have made better use of that long half volley, Regis Chakaba. He only finds the fielder.
Unfamiliar role for Regis Chakaba. Slightly overpitched. You're going to be ultra critical about that and possibly just get into the ball a little bit more, get his foot towards the pitch of the ball. I was talking about Regis, this being unfamiliar territory for him. Normally, that's plays more test matches than anything else. Bats at number 7. Domestic cricket for his franchise, the Eagles, who play their home games here at Harare Sports Club. Also, bats number 4. Been elevated in the absence of the Zimbabwean captain Hamilton Masakadza. Opportunity for him.
Yeah, it's a strange decision to me, and also listening to how you've broken down the reason for him opening. So if Hamilton Masakadza is fit, he then automatically makes his way back in the side as the captain. Why not then pick a specialist opener to take that position of Hamilton Masakadza at the top of the innings? It's a bit unfair on Regis Chakaba, I believe. If he's batted 4 for, and you said unfamiliar territory. But I guess when you're given an opportunity to play for your country, you grab it with both hands. However, you can't ask a wheelbarrow to be a bicycle.
Absolutely right. There is a specialist opening batsman who is in the squad, Brian Chari. Played in the warm-up game and didn't get any runs, so possibly not worried about his form. But, he did well in the domestic season, both 4-day cricket and 1-day cricket. But possibly just a bit of a concern about his current form. But as you say, Ed, at the end of the day, when you get an opportunity to represent your country, opportunity at anything really, to make sure that you grab it with both hands.
Hamilton Masakadza in the picture, heavily strapped, thumb fractured. Relax change. Is this the last delivery of the over? I'll throw this question to you. You're always open the batting. Would it be fair for someone to come to you and say, now bat 5? And that's a personal question to yourself, and so we get an understanding of it. There'll be more of that at the end of the over. 7 without loss. Supporters regalia that they're able to run. Not the happiest man in the ground, definitely. Even though the home side were able to bowl out the visitors for 110. Nice.
Not easy boy. Ball swinging body. Come on there.
Nice. Angled into the right hand, just leaving him. That's a beautiful delivery. At length, it has allowed Solomon Mire to see that it's moved away from him and then pull away from the shot. I'm going to try and get that ball a little bit fuller. Maybe get him coming towards the ball. that front foot, and then it's difficult for him to pull that bat out of the line. Well bowled.
Just hit the stump, boy.
Totally different approaches by Solomon Mire. This beats the outside edge on the front foot. The previous one beat the outside edge on the back foot. So, an indication of how the bowler's on top of the batter in those two instances. So enough in the surface for the bowlers. Pose a question to you, and I said it's very difficult to have role changes in the side, especially if you're a specialist at a specific role. And I asked you, would you, as an opener all your life, then be asked if a position presents itself to bat at 5?
Possibly not, in terms of fairness, Ed. But if that was something that was to happen, I would take that opportunity. We'll come back to that. This is the Zimbabwean bowlers today. They were extra special. Chatara and Jarvis sharing 5 wickets between themselves. Donald Tiripano, the seamer. Backup seamer getting the other 2. Squeezed out.
Yeah.
A couple into the offside. So yes, Ed, I've had a couple of opportunities to play in a team where I haven't been opening the batting. And the coaches basically said, look, if you're going to get a look in, this is the position that is open for you to play in. Never ever prospered batting down the order. But as we said, when those opportunities come, you've got to take them.
There's an outside edge, there's an appeal, there's a shake of the head by Langton Rusere, and it's a compensing shake of the head. A little bit of action in this over, very, very good bowling. End of the over, 10 without loss.
Four overs, Zimbabwe 10 for none.
Nothing at all.
One life, huh? One life, buddy. Second.
The dressing room looks fairly relaxed. Hamilton Masakaza got a smile on his face, not playing today. Next man in, Craig Irvin, right at the top of your screen. Got the inners, the half inners as they're called. That was a probing over. Ahmed. A good rest. Just a little bit of what there. There was an appeal. There was a question raised. Oh, the keeper, he was convinced.
Man at fine leg coming to the circle. Square leg going back onto the boundary. Nicely bowled. Good area. Hits the bat hard, Ed.
Yeah, he does. It's an unassuming action, isn't it? It's almost an amble to the crease, but I think where all the business happens is at the point of delivery. I must say, from a fashion point of view, the caps are totally out of sync. It's a lovely kit, beautiful kit, and then the cap goes all beige, or is that grey? What's going on there? I have some sort of continuity with the fashion trends. Short ball, again unassuming, goes through to the keeper quite quickly.
Solid.
Got onto Solomon Mire a lot quicker than he thought. Did well to pull out of the shot. Realised that he wasn't going to be in control of that. And just at the last moment, just pulling out of that stroke. Good pace generated by Naveed.
What a delivery. This pitch has produced a lot of excitement for fast bowlers. And that is just an absolute gem.
It's an area that Solomon Mire has struggled with throughout his career. Just that area there, outside the off stump. Quite often you see him found wanting outside that off stump, just stabbing at the ball a little bit, feeling for it. Area that, especially if you open the batting, you need to be pretty circumspect with.
Yeah, the UAE will be thinking another 80 runs, 90 runs, 200 on the board. Easy enough. Pressure was created with 5 dot balls. Pick up a single, 11 without loss.
After 5 overs, Zimbabwe 11 for none.
I think from an exciting point of view, you'd want the likes of Mire, who are players that can take it to the bowlers and take it to the opposition. That's what you want to see now, him to play his natural game. Yes, there's a little bit in the surface, but if you're going to come at the bowler, just don't allow him to bowl that one delivery that seems to always misbehave and really excite the bowlers. From my point of view, I think he should play his natural game. And, entertainment point of view, it'll be good.
Wonderfully bowled once again. Definitely realised that Solomon Mire was just a little tentative outside that off stump. Again, angled into the right-hander, just leaving him. It's a good delivery because you can't afford to leave that. It's angled into you, and if it carries on there, then it's got an opportunity to hit your off stump. It's really, really well bowled. Good leave.
Lovely kiddo, lovely kiddo.
Very easy action. Getting a bit more out the surface. It's the high release as well, and a good wrist.
Back up.
There's just certain parts of his action and his run-up that remind me of a former Pakistani fast bowler, Mohammad Asif. Perhaps my eyes deceive me, but we'll have a closer look at that in a short while. Got the long sleeves on. just here. A good wrist. Very easy, good shape as well.
Economical is the word that comes to mind when you look at that run-up. Tall, lanky. This is what you're talking about here. Rainsford, high arm. And talk about symmetry and straight lines nowadays when it comes to bowlers. He's got it absolutely spot on there.
Hit firmly, well timed, it goes through the fielder. The running's been good.
No!
Decide against the
Sabai near the
third.
backup. Wanakadi, very well bowled.
The over comes to an end, it's 14 with our loss. Timson Maruma in the nets with Shepard Makurina and Stuart Matsikinyere. Having a hit is in the 11 today. Not sure where he'll bat.
I think Timson might come in quite early. He's a man who takes his time with his innings. And just having a discussion with the coach a little bit earlier. He might be somebody that might be coming in number 5. Just get an opportunity to play himself in. Obviously, might not happen today, depending on how the top 4 for Zimbabwe go with this run chase. Early wickets, important here for the UAE. Solomon Mire has exploited that gully area, got several singles out there. And, those 10 runs of his so far. Outside edge. To come back for 2, Regis Chakaba decides against it. Just tends to sometimes close that bat face, Eddie. He likes playing through the onside, and if the ball just straightens on him sometimes, just struggles in terms of getting there. You can see that bat face just a little bit closed. Body's open. You want to stay a little bit more side on. That'll keep his bat face a little bit straighter. Stuart Matsikinyere in the middle, the batting coach. That'll be something that he'll be working with Regis Chakaba, I'm sure.
Yeah, former batter for Zimbabwe, Stuart Matsikinyere, has been with the side for a while. He's also part of one of the franchises here, Mashonaland Eagles, who won the local 50-over comp. Yeah, for the UAE, got to pick out the wicket, yeah. Got to try and put a little bit of pressure on Zimbabwe. A little bit of brilliance. There's not a lot of chatter out there. With good piece of fielding, or was that an opportunity?
Well, it's gone quickly, and I think it was an opportunity. That is a valiant effort by Rizwan, and the captain applauds the effort. A little bit of width. And Solomon Mire has beat the leather off that. That's a wonderful effort. At backward point. Went quickly. And opportunity, yes, but half an opportunity. Pulled away by Regis Chakava. That'll be the first boundary in the Zimbabwean innings, and a good one. 21 for no loss, 7 overs gone.
Thanks to Eddie Ransford and Tino Moyo for the past 30 minutes. Emphatic finishes at the previous over. Big shout. And it's given him. Langton Rusere is the umpire and has given it. And that's the end of Solomon Mire. Full pitch delivery. And he got stock in his crease.
Not terribly surprised, Patient, to be honest. I had my finger up. That's before we saw a replay. He's gone right across his stumps, hasn't he? It's hit him on the knee roll. I reckon that's hitting him.
Yeah, that's pretty adjacent.
Yeah, I don't think that Solomon Mire will have too much to complain about that. 11 off 25, and Zimbabwe are 21 for 1, needing another 90. Craig Irvin's a new batsman, the left-hander, coming in at number 3. He's had a bumper domestic season. Really, really impressive for the Tuskers this year. And there's his ODI career. A couple of hundreds. And that average is the best of the current Zimbabwean team in one-day cricket. Definitely fitting that he should be in at first drop.
Craig Evans has been in very good form in the domestic season, and just have a look at the wicket again. Let's just have a look at the replay for that wicket. Kadir with the full delivery, and Solomon Mire just playing all around the straight delivery, really.
Yeah, and it did seem back. The question I might have had is height, but I don't think that that was an issue. If we look at the side-on, view, I think we'll find that it's not an issue. It did nip back. It seemed a lot. The question, having looked at a couple of replays, is whether it might have seemed back too much. I said hitting the top of middle. I've changed that to maybe hitting the top of leg.
Yeah, there was a hint of movement. Maybe with the angle also, the bowler coming a little bit wide off the crease and angling the ball into the right-hander. Again, reward for pitching the ball up, hitting a good length. Half-hearted appeal. That was really full wide, York outside off stump. Craig Evans just had a little bit of a dab at that. And that got the wicketkeeper asleep, and everyone in the UAE squad interested having a look at that one again.
Not so sure it was an appeal, just more of a noise. Everybody was excited because the ballers missed the bat, and the bat has hit the ground at the same time as the ball hit the ground, so there were all sorts of noises, and that's enough to any fielding side excited, particularly one desperate for early wickets to give themselves even the slightest chance.
They're going to need early wickets if they're to come back in this game at all. UAE. They need a few wickets early, especially in this first power play early on. Already picked up the 1 wicket now. Have a look at that. For the man of the match. What? It's a piece of wood cut. So unbelievable stuff, that.
It's a cheese board patient. And a brilliant idea, actually. You know what, I think that's something a bit different rather than the regular. That's a very, very fine delivery to finish the over. But yeah, nice to see something a bit different to the old chrome and perspex that we often get. 8 overs gone, 23 for 1.
सुल्ताना चला जाए मैं सर्कल में रहता
Right, Captain Mohammed Naveed has built up a decent head of speed, but more importantly, he's getting swing away from the right-hander. Just got the one right-hander to bowl at, Reggie Chakabva.
Like Naveed, he gets quite a bit of shape away from the right-handers. And, very experienced campaigner he is, as far as ODI cricket is concerned, as well as limited overs cricket. He's played around the blocks. He's quite a stocky little character, is Naveed. Gets good wrist behind the ball as well.
Do you think the teams will, with a view to the fact this is a 4-match series and this is the first game, will they be attaching importance to certain aspects of this second innings over and above the result? I mean, is it just about the result? I mean, do the UAE, if they lose, just forget about it and walk away, or do they try and take something out of it with a view to the fact that there's 3 more games? That is a wonderful shot. Like many men short of stature, Reggie Chakabva is excellent square of the wicket, isn't he? Cutting, pulling, and that was a terrific shot.
He's played with some authority today. That was emphatic, that pull shot from Reggie Chakabva. We've seen one earlier on, and this is the second he's played today. Have a look at that. Short. He gets into position early and smashed that. He's absolutely given that the kitchen sink. That's a top shot. You do not bowl short to Reggie Chakabva. He's very good on the pull. He's very strong in that area square of the wicket, like you say, Manners. Just coming back to your question earlier on, I think that they will try and get a few wickets earlier on and see how it goes, but I think it will go on to just... it's a good length, that. Very good length. I think it will go on to... this is just the first match of the series, and they still have 3 more after this. And I think they'll want to look at the disciplines and look at important aspects, especially the seamers haven't had a good opportunity to actually get overs in behind them. So they only came a day, and then they played a warm-up match at Harare or the Hararian Sports Club. So they haven't had a long time to actually get used to the conditions here in Zimbabwe. So this could be an opportunity for them to actually assess the conditions and get a feel of and get everyone a ball, so to speak.
Yeah, I totally agree. And as far as Zimbabwe are concerned, I'm not suggesting that they go so far as to set themselves an actual target. I mean, teams have done that in the past, and you know, let's win. Let's chase it in 20 overs or 25 overs. Let's score at 4 and over, but at least be positive. Don't just crawl along. I mean, I think actually, yes, they could walk away with a victory if they chased 111 for victory in 40 overs. But you know, how much good would that do them? Scoring at 2.5 and over. I think they should be positive and. Yeah, I think probably 20 or 25 overs. You know, just don't lose wickets in pursuit of that if things go wrong. But just make it a really emphatic positive win. 9 overs gone at 28 for 1.
Down the track, and Chikava just losing his shape a little bit there. You feel
A little bit. That was awful, wasn't it? There's nothing wrong with going down the wicket, but you can't have a head in the air, wild slog at it if you've done that. That's okay. Charge, but then hit straight.
Yeah, he's got to hold his shape and look to hit it straight over the bowler's head. Field is up, mid-on and mid-off up in the circle. All he has to do is just pop it over the bowler. That's all he does. Need to do, and Chikava there just getting ahead of himself a little bit. He's been well composed from the onset, and he's got to keep his head down now. That's a much better looking stroke, that. Much, much better. On this occasion he holds his shape nicely. That's a sign of a batsman that's spoken to himself in his mind and told himself, you know what, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. Look at that, good shape, textbook stuff. He's spoken to himself and he's just told himself, you know what, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. I've got to keep my head down, I've got to look at the situation on the ground. It's a chance for him to get a note out here.
I do like the fact that he's trying to be positive, though, but there are ways to do it. But yeah, I mean, as I said, I don't think that Zimbabwe will gain anything other than a victory for the rest of the series if they crawl along and score at 2.5 or 3 and over. I think they need to be emphatic, and the reason that might benefit them is because if the UAE bat first in 2 days' time on Friday and make 240, which they did in the practice game, then Zimbabwe at least will have been in the groove of scoring at 4 or 5 and over.
True, I agree. I agree 100% with that. They've got to be positive. They've got to chase down this score, but it's very important for Zimbabwe to keep wickets in hand as well, which is a confident boost for the side and for the remainder of the series. And what I think is the coaching staff and everyone in the Zimbabwe dressing room will be thinking, win this, get this one out the way.
Better, much better. Should have done that first time. That's a lovely shot. I don't think that, I mean, I hope they don't take the view that if it doesn't matter how ugly we win, let's just win ugly. I hope they don't take that view. And certainly Reggie Takava's not taking that
Not
view.
when Chikava is playing shorts like that. Have a look at that. He holds his shape, keeps his head down, hits it straight back over the bowler. That's a lovely shot. That's a glorious lofted straight drive. Fabulous stroke that from Chikava. He's looking dangerous, isn't he?
No!
It's a good follow-up delivery. Dot ball to end the over. 10 gone. 32 for 1 Zimbabwe.
10 overs. Zimbabwe now 32 for 1.
To you. Great.
The target to win his first ODI match is...
There you go, UAE went 19 for 3 after the first 10 overs. Zimbabwe already well ahead, 32 for 1. It was the whole innings was disappointing for the UAE, obviously, but 74 for 5 in the second power play. That's from overs 11 to 40. 30 overs and scored 2 1/3 runs per over. Right, change of bowling. Sultan Ahmed is going to come in with his slow left arm spin. 29 years old, born in Gujranwala, played 70 20s for the UAE, and a good introduction of spin. I thought they might try an over or two of spin actually within the first power play, but they've waited for the first one to be complete, so that means that you can have one extra man on the boundary, and they've decided that they will actually employ the 3 boundary fielders that they're permitted. Got one at deep backward square, a cover sweeper, and a man 3/4 of the way back at mid-off, long off, not quite on the back, well, the long way in from the boundary actually.
Tell you what, man, this is going to be a testing period for Zimbabwe. I went to watch the warm-up match at Oderarians when UAE took on the Zimbabwe A side. They've got quite a few good spinners in the side, and they hit a very nice horrible length, and it was very difficult for the Zimbabwe batsman, the Zimbabwe A batsman, to contend with. So, interesting period we're going to get into here with the spinners on.
Throughout the first innings, I know that UAE made it look even more difficult than it was, but throughout that first innings, every now and then the ball would just stop, just grip a bit on the pitch from seamers and spinners alike, which doesn't just mean that it turns sideways, but it can just lose pace more than you would ordinarily expect, and that's what happened to Irvin there as he pushed forward, and it just got a leading edge. The ball just stopped on him, gripped. Oh, he's missed out there, Irvin.
He's taking his time, isn't he, Craig, Evan? Just getting the hang of it. Let's just have a look at the previous delivery just now, the one sliding down the leg side, slightly short, just looking to just whip that around the corner. Half foot at a pill there from the bowler, but nothing much. It's a good over this. Sultan Ahmed, 29 years of age.
Come on!
Finally, everyone manages to squeeze one down to the man at long on. So one after over, after 11, Zimbabwe 33 for 1.
लेफ्टी है मिड ऑफ कौन है कौन है उठा जाना मिड उठा जाना है याद रखना इमरान इमरान थोड़ा बाहर हो बस बस बस
Rowan Mustafa with his off spin opened the batting and now gets an early chance with the ball. Now then, talking of chances, don't know that that carried to Imran Haider at mid wicket.
Yeah, it looked uppish and pretty dangerous. Not sure if
थोड़ा
that
अंदर
really
आई
carried
खब्बा
the
सजाई
fielder.
राइटी
Mid wicket. Interesting to have a look at
जल्दी
that
आ
one
अंदर
again.
तू
reaction from the bowler suggests that that might have carried.
Yeah, I'm not sure. It might have just been on the half volley. Difficult to tell, wasn't it?
Oi, very well bowling.
You can't really judge by how the bowlers react. They're always looking for wickets.
Yeah, I think it was more in hope than expectation. Best bowling of 5 for 25 in his 27 ODIs before this one. That's why
Well,
he's introduced into the attack just the 12th over of the innings. I think the spinners do represent the best chance of UAE to spring what would be a massive, massive surprise and shock.
good throw.
Not just because of the disparity in rankings, but because they're trying to defend 110.
Zimbabwe will have in mind that fateful day a few months back.
Oh, shabash.
The UAE got in the way of them qualifying for a place in the World Cup. End of the over, 12 gone, 38 for 1.
Left arm spinner continues. Sultan Ahmed. Spin from both ends. Neither batsman has decided to dispense with their helmets. Bat in a cap, as the UAE captain Mohammad Naveed did in the first innings. Oh, it's a super piece of batting from Craig Irvin. It's a shot of a man really in form. Not just in form as in hitting the ball in the middle of the bat, but in complete control of his decision making, and that was a beautifully conceived and executed shot. Knew exactly what he was going to do and did it.
Yeah, crispy timing and split the gap nicely. Split the gap so well. Just a little shimmy down the track and got to the pitch of the ball nicely and picked it up off his legs nicely there. And this time just eases it down to the man in long on. This is quality. This is quality batting from Craig Irvine. He's part of the crowd enjoying the proceedings. Lunchtime it is at Centurion. A few drinks in there. Lovely place, that's the Centurion here at Harare Sports Club. If you are at home or somewhere else, come and enjoy the cricket here at Harare Sports Club.
How many years ago
Get it?
used to be called the Kegan Maiden? Changed a few times.
I remember the good old days, yeah? Became the Maiden.
Yeah, that's right.
And now the Centurion. As Chikava eases that one down to long off for just a single.
And just to confirm, if it looks appealing to you and you happen to be heading to Harare at any point, it is open every day. It's not open just for the cricket. There it is. It's a really good spot to come and have lunch. And indeed, it's open every evening as well. I mean, it's a really rocking joint, particularly at weekends, and there's always sport on TV. 13 overs gone, it's 44 for 1.
And after 13 overs, Zimbabwe now 34 for 1.
What does it mean?
Langton Rizeri gave that a lot of thought. Tell you what, that looked pretty straight first up, live. This is Craig Irvin's delayed late cover drive. We'll have a look at that sweep shot from Reggie Chakova in just a moment, but I think he might have got a bit lucky there. Might.
Yeah, Mustafa feels hard done by. You can judge by the reaction there. It was pretty close. That was mighty close there. That's better from Chakova, presenting the full face of the blade this time around. Interesting to have a look at that sweep shot again, that LBW shot.
Lefty boys.
Langton Rizeri, none of that.
Yeah, I hope I'm not being too unkind to Langton Rizeri, but I'll tell you what, it actually impact is outside the line of off stump. Or, yeah, it is. Correct decision. But looked a bit straighter than that first time.
At first glance, that looked out. But umpire Langton Rizeri has been around for a while. He's been very consistent as well, this man.
Very well ball.
He broke the record for becoming the
Well ball.
to umpire in a World Cup final. It was when the Women's World Cup final recently. As umpire Langton Rizeri in any final. The Women's World Cup, yeah, recently.
Good check, Ron.
Well, he certainly gets a lot more right than he gets wrong. Been very consistent for a long time.
Comes from the oldest city in the country, Masvingo, formerly known as Fort Victoria. He went to Victoria High School himself, Langton Rizeri. And again, as we see another superb piece of timing from Craig Irvine. Little dance down the pitch. Nice little pick up there to end the over. 14 gone, 49 for 1.
$49 for 1. Sultan Ahmed with his slow left arm spin. Don't know how long Mohammed Naveed, the captain, will keep these two spinners in tandem, particularly if they don't take a wicket. I expect that he'd be well advised to do as you suggested, Patient, and that's give all his bowlers a run. Actually, you know, if you can't take a win out of the game, at least take as much involvement for as many players as possible, with a view to the rest of the series, games 2, 3, and 4.
And there's still quite a lot of cricket to be played, and they're not out of it even if they lose this one. So it'll be good enough for the captain to give a run to a lot of the bowlers, give them an opportunity, build their confidence. And so that's very important in the brightest scope of the entire series, as it were. Irvine is the man on strike now. A lot of alterations on the field. There's now a man catching just in front.
Oh, I think he's got an edge on that, has he? No. Clearly not. Looked like a little top edge onto the pad, but not entirely sure why Craig Irvine has played that shot. On a needs basis, there was no need. I'm not particularly sure the field lends itself to that shot either. No, it's not off his glove. It's come off his forearm, isn't it? Does not constitute part of the bat.
That's a lot better, that. Uses the depth of his crease nicely there, hangs back. And he just works that around the corner. And has picked up an easy 3 there. There is an example how he uses the depth of his crease and just works that around the corner. He looks very good. He's pleasing on the eyes, pleasing to the eyes, and he oozes with class. And when he gets going, he gets going.
You're absolutely right. Yes, he is pleasing to watch. 54 for 1. Almost halfway for the home side. They need 111 for victory. Take a short break. When you come back, you'll be with Ed Rainsford and
after 15 overs, Zimbabwe now 54
Dean du Plessis.
Let them throw it. If you want to. Well ball, well ball. ओए लाले वापस आई शाबाश सिंगल है बॉय
Thank you, Neil. Thank you, Patient.
Yeah,
Zimbabwe are making light work of it up to this point. They've lost the 1 wicket of Mire. At 55 for 1. Irvin's looked quite fluid.
Oi!
Having said that, there have been balls that have misbehaved. There are balls that have turned, bounced, asked a few questions, but this partnership of 34 has just settled the nerves that were.
Well ball, well ball, well ball, well ball.
Short. It's made an excellent sound off the cricket bat of Craig Irvin. And it just takes a bounce into the fence, and now that boundary will welcome Dean du Plessis.
Lovely shot by Craig Irvin. He has been in pretty good form at domestic level, and on this occasion capitalizing on a loose delivery. But it's the manner in which he put it away which was most pleasing.
Yeah, good strike. Halfway down and punished. He's in a good vein of form in the T20 series here domestically. Stood head and shoulders above everybody else. Not known as a T20 player or someone that takes the game away from the opposition, more of an accumulator. Good cricket. And nudges it onto the onside, and the running is equally good. And 2 are picked up quite easily. An over that goes for 7. And 61 for 1. The Worms. Zimbabwean one is well above that of the UAE. Big gap between those Worms, Dean.
Yes, absolutely, very much so. But you still can't help but get the feeling that had the UAE maybe scored another, say, 60 or so runs, or maybe another 80, it could have been harder work for Zimbabwe to chase this down, because just nudged away on the onside for a run. And this is good, Ed, the way that both Craig Irvin and Reggie Chakaba who have been going about their innings, because they have capitalized on the loose bowling when it's come along, but they've also been very good at trying to rotate the strike as well, something which, by his own admission, Craig Irvin can at times be a bit guilty of.
I did mention he's more of an accumulator, but he seems to have just worked on his game a little bit more and become a little bit more consistent. I think there's a period of a few months where he hasn't really got as many runs as he would have liked. Listen to an interview you actually conducted a few days ago with the coach, and he spoke about Craig Irvin. He probably went through a little bit of a lull. Excuse the pun.
Yes, speaking to Coach Lal Chandrachput about Craig Irvin going through a lull, but he did. I mean, and what we were talking about as well is that he's also decided to be a lot more aggressive and positive, so not just accumulate, but he's now also opting to come running down the wicket to the spinners, and even with the fielder out at long off and long on, he seems to be... That's a nice shot. Well, almost on cue, because that is the first 6 of the Zimbabwe innings.
Frees up the onside. The position he gets into very early, and he meets the ball through the strike zone, and the distance and the if you look at it visually, you just know that's going. You just know it's out the ground, because the poise, the balance, and the address of the hands and the bat on the ball goes for half a dozen. And now Zimbabwe just need 41 more runs. Just a discussion, the keeper just wants to be sure that the field is set in the manner that the bowler is comfortable with, and along with the captain. Excellent cricket. Now he frees up the offside. It's a simple push. And he'll pick up a couple. So 11 off that over. It's 72 for 1.
तो इसको ये तो आपको आराम से पाँव रखेंगे चौका ले जब भी चाहेगा ये मार सकता है बड़ा प्लेयर है इसको नॉर्मल फील्ड लेके ना इसको डिफरेंट कुछ करने दे ये रिवर्स स्वीप मारने जाए कुछ और करने जाए हां तो ठीक है ना पर ज्यादा कर रहे हैं लंबाई करना ना जैसे
So Craig Irvin, who seems to be the aggressor of this partnership, 34 of 30 with 3 4s and a 6. Reggie Chakaba going on quite nicely, 26 of 47 with 3 boundaries. No need for him really to be expansive, just to do what he does best, and that's rotate the strike.
ठीक है ठीक है
And the 50-run partnership as well between these two. Haider into the attack with these leg breaks.
उसने आप लिया इमरान अदर ने लिया
Age of 31.
वैसे इमी अदर बढ़ता नहीं है
30 wickets in his ODI career. Decent enough economy.
हाँ कवर दे चले बार
59 deliveries and 54 of those runs coming from the bat of Irvin.
ठीक है
He's taken
ऊपर आ
control.
ये
He's at number 3 that Zimbabwe have always really looked for, haven't they? And it's been a tough period for them to find stability through that number 3 opening pair sort of slot, because they seem to lose wickets early sometimes, and they just need the stability. Oh yes, Reggie wants to join the party. He joins it with a couple of bounces. It goes for 4.
Beautifully struck, not allowing the leg spinner to settle at all. Reggie Chakaba himself has been in exceptionally good form as well. And, we'll be showing you the replay shortly and how he capitalized and pounced on this delivery straight away. Oh, that's a lovely stroke by Reggie Chakaba.
hitting from the crease. And now he's going with the slog sweep. It's straight enough, and it's back-to-back boundaries for Chakava.
Zimbabwe now beginning to assert their authority and to ensure that the UAE spinners do not dominate, because we have seen that there's been turn and bounce on offer, but this is one of Reggie Chakava's favorite shots, the slog sweep. And as Ed Rainsford said, all he needed to do is to ensure that he gets it straight enough to pierce the field and to get the boundary.
Yeah, for a short man, he's getting good reach. Hyder's under pressure. Captain's having a long conversation with him and telling him where to bowl, but I tell you what, he can only defend 31 runs. All right, the man goes back.
Well brought.
And defends on this occasion, but it was a mind game by Reggie Chakava. Saw the mid-on up and he said, you know what, if you toss it up, I'm going to hit it over there and accumulate as many runs as possible. The defensive ploy now has been put back, so the options of the ones and the twos are available to these two batters. Last 18 deliveries, 30 runs. Oh, that turns sharply.
I tell you what, there's nothing as beautiful as a leg spinner that gets a ball to turn and bounce. Beautifully bowled.
I can think of a few things. Yeah, well, it's the green.
Well ball, Mani. Excellent bowling. Great bowling, Mani.
Bounce and bite and beating the outside edge. Visually, it's wonderful on the cricket purist's eyes, or feel.
Especially the feel.
34 apiece for these two. Again. Lovely bite and turn. End of the 18th. It was an expensive one. 8 off it. It's 80 for 1. Players have enjoyed some drinks and just one wicket to fall. And that was Solomon Mire. Khaida Ahmed, he was the man to get the breakthrough. And he looked a bit aggrieved. A closer look at that looks pretty adjacent. Looks like it was going on to hit the stumps. So that was the only wicket to fall, but we've been entertained royally, Dean, by Chakava and Irvin.
Yes, absolutely. Chakava and Irvin have settled the ship rather nicely after the early wicket of Solomon Mire, who'll be desperately disappointed in the way that he got out. So there's a look at the worm. And you'll see that the Zimbabwe worm, understandably so, when chasing 110 is, or 111 to win, is way ahead of the UAE worm.
And after 18 overs,
And that's a startling worm. It's almost vertical. And way above the one of the UAE. Right, they've enjoyed some drinks. And Irvin gets Zimbabwe underway again. Just sometimes you feel with a break, lapse in concentration can bring about a wicket or circumspect approaches and regather your thoughts. But Dean, we were just talking during that drinks break about how Craig has just transformed himself into someone who is becoming quite aggressive with his batting, but it's not a force. It's not a force. He doesn't look or feel or visually looks as if he's forcing his game. It's just timing and it's good shot selection.
Here's a look at Craig Irvin on your screen shortly. Yes, and you're absolutely right. You know, there's nothing about muscle. He's very different to his brother Sean, who's a big, strong, muscular guy. And Sean relies on muscling the ball, whereas Craig Irvin just relies on majestically stroking the ball. So everything he does with seemingly effortless ease.
The timing has been something to marvel at. He's had his issues against fast bowlers. I recall a one-day game against South Africa in Bloemfontein. And Dale Steyn really bowled some scary deliveries at him. Bounces that hit him on the helmet and looks as if he had closed himself off. Couldn't really express himself as he would have loved to. However, seems to have opened his stance a little bit and allowing the hitting zone and the area and freeing up the onside and the offside with greater ease. Oh, that pops on him. Just holds in the surface. There isn't a catcher in place. It goes a begging. 19 overs gone. It's 85 for 1.
अंदर रखा उन्हों केडी नु ठीक है
Crowd subdued.
ठीक है
And Zimbabwe 26 runs away from drawing first blood in a 4-match ODI
सुल्तान
series.
देख ले
However, a win is a win. You grab it with both hands, don't you? This is a wonderful shot. We've just been singing his praises, and he's just gone on the front foot, placed it through the offside, and it's a wonderful cover drive for 4.
Beautiful stuff by Craig Irvin. And again, this is what we've been talking about. There's no power, well, seemingly no power, but all he does is he makes sure that he's on the front foot, and then it's all about placement and it's about
Double
timing.
money.
And despite the fact that the outfield is heavy, the ball absolutely scorches the outfield and obliterates the advertising boards.
oh 100 से
And then good cricket straight after that. It isn't a delivery that he can capitalize
Righty,
on,
righty,
but finds
boy.
the single. It's something that the likes of Virat Kohli, A.B. de Villiers are very good at. Joe Root,
oh
Shamron Heckmeyer, who will go after the bowling but will still find singles aplenty.
Reggie Chakaved, I mean, are you happy with the fact that he's, I guess, come in as a bit of a makeshift opener because of the injury to Hamilton Masakadza? I personally would have preferred him in the middle order due to the way that he manipulates and rotates the strike and plays spin.
Yeah, it's a discussion I had with Tino Maoyo.
Lovely, lovely boy.
Post-lunch.
Lovely.
Is it fair for a man that's come into the side with runs in the number 4 spot for his team to then open because your main opener is injured? But what happens is that you're given an opportunity, you ask the question, you can't really turn it down. And I did pose the question to Tino Mawoyo, being an opener throughout his life, if the coach had to come to him and say, bat 5. Oh, big shot, Craig. Craig, that's in the stands. It's gone a long way.
But it's the timing, though, isn't it? And I know we're harping on about it, but there's no effort. Beautifully timed stroke by Craig Irvin. And when he does hit them, they do go a long way. What a lovely shot. So Zimbabwe now really beginning to assert their authority. End of the over, Zimbabwe 98 for 1. So 98 for 1, Zimbabwe are then still needing another 12 runs to win. Reggie Chakava and Craig Irvin going along very, very nicely after having dismissed the UAE for a paltry 110. Winning the toss and bowling first and taking advantage of the conditions. Very good afternoon to you too, Neil Manthorpe.
Thank you very much indeed, Dean. So, on the brink of an emphatic victory, I did suggest that Zimbabwe ought to set themselves a target of 25 overs to knock these runs off, and they're going to do that comfortably. Just 13 to win now. So Craig Irvin's looked in wonderful form, and he has been all summer, Dean. Craig Irvin has had a prolific season, hasn't he, for the Tuskers?
Yeah, Craig Irvin has been magnificent. He, it all started for him in the Pro 50 tournament here in Zimbabwe, where he suddenly adopted this very aggressive mindset, and it's paid off. You know, he's been afraid to not come down. Well, he will come down the wicket, should I say, and even clear the fielders, a deep mid wicket back and long off and long on back. He's not afraid. Just a single now to Craig Richard Irvin. And it's almost because after the mindset that happened, the debacle that happened, end of the over, we'll get back to that. Zimbabwe now 100 for 1.
और नहीं उधर तो जरूरत नहीं है बढ़ते थे और कितने ले ला चल ठीक है आगे बढ़ सब
So 11 runs more for Zimbabwe to go 1-0 up in the 4-match series here at Harare Sports Club. 100 for the loss of 1 wicket, Zimbabwe. And wow, what a good all-round performance it's been. The bowlers were good, and the batsmen have. And that's Craig Irvin's 50. And it's come off just 40 balls, and if you have followed Craig Irvin, you would think it as a bit of a surprise for him to bat in this manner. But it has been an innings of absolute authority from the onset. He's looked to dominate and played some very, very good strokes. 4 fours and 2 sixes in the bargain, and as we just said, of 40 balls.
He's faced just 19 dots as well. Oh, he's bowled him around his legs. Sweep shot, little paddle flick sweep from Reggie Chakabva, and bowled round his legs by Imran Haider. With just 10 runs required. But at least it's a consolation. Leg break from Haider. It gripped a little. If it hadn't straightened a little bit, it would have missed leg stump. But Reggie Chakabva knows that there are certain technical requirements for the sweep shot, and one of which is to make sure you're not bowled behind your legs. 38 from 63 balls, 101 for 2.
Please welcome the next batsman for Zimbabwe.
New batsman is Sean Williams. One left-hander replaced by another. I beg your pardon. Reggie Chakabva's not left-handed. What I meant to say was one left-hander joining another. Craig Irvin and Sean Williams. Just 10 runs required, and the UAE, rightly, got a slip in. You never give up hope. He's also the senior citizen of the team, Shayman Anwar, the age of 40. It gives him an automatic right as the oldest player in the team to field a slip. Well, that's a lovely shot. Power sweep behind square leg.
It's a nice way to get off the mark, isn't it? Very, very powerfully struck behind square, and that's exactly how it should be. Try and finish it off as quickly as you possibly can.
Yeah, that's right. It's a fairly winless, no-win situation for Sean Williams, walking to the crease with just 10 runs required. You go one or two ways, don't you? Either try and spend a few overs at the crease and just get some time in, because you can't score many runs, or just get it over with as soon as possible.
What is interesting about this partnership is that it's Craig Irvin and Sean Williams. Now, Craig Irvin's older brother is Sean. It's very easy to get the tongue tripped and twisted and accidentally say Craig and Sean Irvin at the crease. And that'll be something for the commentators to think about for the rest of the series.
Well, poor old Craig Irvin was called Sean Irvin for the first 6 years of his career. He lived in the shadow of his big brother. I remember it was at least 6 years that I spent going, well, that's terrific from short Craig Irvin. Invented a new name, Shaw Craig. Four required now. Twenty-two overs gone. It's 107 for 2. Just 4 more required.
इन्हें पहली बॉल पे बाउंड्री मार देनी है 11 में सीपी
So then 107 for the loss of 2 wickets Zimbabwe are. 4 more runs required to go 1-0 up in the series. And there's a couple of dignitaries who've come in to watch.
Just a matter of spending as long out in the middle as possible for the UAE bowlers. They have, I mean, you can't say that they've stretched Zimbabwe in terms of wickets. They've only taken 2, but I mean, at least they didn't lose in 12 or 15 overs. They've got some fair amount of work under their belts. Might just help. And that should end it. Oh my goodness, that's down towards long on. It hasn't ended it. It's ended it for Sean Irvin, Craig Irvin. I've done it again. Craig Irvin's chipped that straight down towards long on, trying to get it over and done with, and in the end it's just cost him his wicket. Mohammed Usman, the fielder, at long on. Straightforward catch and a second consolation wicket. First it was Imran Haider and now it's Rowan Mustafa. Straightforward catch, as you can see, and Irvin disappointed with himself. Just 4 runs required and he's gone for 51 from 46 balls. It's still 107, but for 3. Yeah. Timson Maruma, another lengthy list of, or he's a member of the lengthy list of players who have completely reinvented themselves. Gone from being a googly bowler who batted at number 10 to a top order batsman who's coming in at number 5 today. And he too has earned his place back in the national team on the back of substantial runs in domestic cricket. End of the over, 108 for 3, just 3 more required. That should do it. Well, there's a chase on, but I don't fancy CP Rizwan's chances of cutting it off. He's the substitute fielder. They have gone, they've run 3. And, well, everyone's just checking. Nobody's quite sure whether they actually won it or not, but they have. And Timson Maruma has flicked through the onside for 3 was all that was required. So Zimbabwe reached 111 for 3, first ball of the 24th over.
Well, Timson Maruma will be very, very happy with the way that ended. Just a nice little flick through square leg. And Zimbabwe go 1-0 up in the series with a very comfortable 7-wicket win.
So congratulations being offered to the Zimbabweans, and rightly so. There's just a debrief happening for the UAE. They're be positive and honest about what went right, which wasn't very much, and what went wrong and what they must do to improve. They've only got one day of practice in between all of the games. Actually, that's the way the schedule is set up. We play, rest, play, rest, play, rest for 8 days. So Zimbabwe have won comprehensively by 7 wickets in the end. It looked likely to be a 9-wicket victory when they reached 101 for 1, but they've got home at 111 for 3 with Timson Maruma's innings all but over in a flash. Just 2 balls, he finished 4 not out, and Sean Williams had 5. I think the Zimbabweans have every reason to be delighted with their performance today. I expect them to make full use of their squad, given the intensity of the schedule. Just a day between all 4 games. So there is Craig Irvin. He must be a contender for man of the match. So 3 wickets were lost in the end. The first one, Solomon Mire, pretty early on, just 21 runs on the board. First ball of the 8th over. This is Solomon Mire, LBW. And we didn't think that was a contentious decision at all. Thought that looked pretty close, pretty adjacent. There's a little sweep shot from Reggie Chikapa, who incidentally I thought batted very, very well indeed. Bowled around his legs, and then Irvin thought, I'll just get this over and done with. A little chip down to long on, but he didn't chip it hard enough. He's already hit 2 sixes in that region. Just clipped it down towards long on.
Convincing victory for Zimbabwe this. Fantastic performance. Here's a look at the batting card for Zimbabwe. Chakava 38. And Sean Evan is the standout performer with 51 of 46 deliveries. And right at the end, Williams and Maruma finishing it off in style. So Zimbabwe 111 for 3, chasing down 110. And so they win by 7 wickets in the end. And here's a look at the partnerships as well. One notable one is the one between Evan and Chakava. Of this 86 deliveries, they put on 80. So that was the mainstay of the Zimbabwe partnerships.
So the bowlers, 3 consolation wickets, and they will be a consolation, and they will feel that they were hard earned. The 2 medium pacers, maybe a bit harsh on Mohammad Naveed. He's briskish medium fast, let's go with. Kadir Ahmed as well, decent pace, but it'll be the spin that do the spinners who do most of the bowling for the UAE during the course of the series. That's how it finished. United Arab Emirates 110, Zimbabwe 111 for 3. We've got 3 more matches to come in the Surya Pump Cup here at all at Harare Sports Club. As I said, we play Wednesday, Friday, Sunday, Tuesday. So 10th today, 12th, 14th and 16th. Heaps of cricket coming up. And we'll hope that there'll be a little bit more closely contested in games 2, 3 and 4. Let's go down to Ed Rainsford. He's got the captains and the man of the match with him.
Welcome to the post-match presentation between Zimbabwe and the UAE. It's the first one of the Surya Pump Cup 2019.
We'll get back to Ed in just a moment. Somebody's unplugged a cable to his microphone, but we'll plug it back in, and we'll be back with Ed and the captains in just a moment. Wonder who the contenders are for man of the match. I mentioned Irvin as an obvious one. He top scored in the match with 50 for 1. I would imagine that the 2 new ball bowlers for the Zimbabweans both be contenders. Kyle Jarvis took 2 for 11 in 7.5 overs. Tendai Chitara took 3 for 25. They would have to be contenders. I don't imagine that Mohammed Bouta, top scored with 36 for the UAE, would be a contender. I think we fixed Ed's microphone downstairs. Let's go and see if we can catch up with him once again. He's got the captains and the man of the match with him.
Yeah, welcome to the post-match presentation of the first match of the Syria Pump Cup between Zimbabwe and United Arab Emirates. We would like to thank Zimbabwe Cricket for organising this series and also expressing their gratitude to all the fans and all the supporters for their valuable support. In the presentation party, it's Mr. Ronald Chibwe, a Zimbabwe Cricket board member. He'll be presenting the man of the match. And there were a couple of contenders for the man of the match. Craig Irvin looked pretty good in his innings there, was taking the bowling apart. But it was all about Tendai Chitara's 3 for 23, and he'll get his man of the match award from Mr. Chibwe. Right, Chats, a couple of words. Excellent with the ball.
Yeah, it was good to bowl and give our team a head start to the series.
It was excellent. You and Carl Jarvis, the way you started the first 10, 15 overs, didn't allow UAE at all to get out the blocks.
Yeah, we have worked so hard, and winning the toss today, it was good. So we just had to bowl our lanes because the wicket was assisting us. So
was a wicket that good for the fast bowlers?
Yeah, it was good because it was swinging and nipping and getting the bounce as well. So it was really, I enjoyed bowling.
You're a man of few words, but thank you very much. Enjoy your man of the match and see you in a few days.
Thank you, Ed.
Right, let's call up the winning captain, Peter Joseph Moore. If debut matches as captain would like to go as easy as possible, this is probably the easiest of them.
Yeah, definitely, Ed. I think obviously my bowlers were fantastic up front. It was a good toss to win, like Chat said, and my job was made very easy today. Obviously, there's not going to be days that go so according to plan, but I'm also relishing the challenge of having that chance to captain the side.
Just on your captaincy, it's your first one, a little bit critical. Were there times there where you probably took your foot off the pedal and could have probably bowled them out for a lot less?
I think that's a bit of a harsh statement. We knocked them over for 110, but yeah, maybe there might have been an occasion where we might have grabbed another wicket earlier, but yeah.
You're all smiles today. Well, you've set the tone. 3 more to go. Got to get past the next 2 to win the series, but you'd probably want to win this 4-0.
Yeah, definitely. We've come out here with that intention. That's the plan in the change room, and we'll take each game as it comes.
I tell you what, you and Tendai Chitara are very subdued in your celebrations, but well done. Wish you the best in the rest of the series.
Cheers. Thanks, Eddie.
Right, that is all from the post-match presentation. Zimbabwe win this one by 7 wickets. And we're going to see you in a couple of days. Actually, it is a fantastic Friday when we'll see you. Until then, see you then.